So, okay, let's start. Let's get this over with. Okay, so what is Photoshop? Photoshop is a graphic software. It's used by professionals, blah blah blah. It's used for image editing, photo retouching, which is like what we're going to do for the intermediate workshops, like tentatively, yeah. And web design, not so much for us. Digital design and illustration and animation. Photoshop can actually do 3D rendering also, but it takes a lot of CPU, so my computer cannot do it. Okay, so what is this manual about? Impart to readers basic knowledge of Photoshop tools and functions. This knowledge should be sufficient to facilitate basic questions, our Photoshop courses, and answer basic questions. So if we next time we have extra people joining the course as facilitators, like maybe from outside, maybe from other comms or what, then they can just read this lah. But you guys in training com have the privilege of me reading this to you. Yep, okay, so basically you should be able to impress people who know nothing about Photoshop. You can be like, oh yes, you can do this, and then other people will be like, wow. Yeah, okay, so this manual doesn't cover the use of 3D tools and certain adjustment options because there are a lot and not all of them are very often used. If you want, you can check it out on your own. Plus, we'll be doing a more detailed manual together in the future. Yes. Okay, so how to open Photoshop? Use the following path. Start. All programs. Right? You go into... let me drag this here first. Start all programs. See, it should be Master Collection CS6 or... actually, it really depends on what you download it as. So mine is in the Master Collection because I have the Master Collection. Surprise. And then you open Adobe Photoshop CS6. Click 64-bit or non-64-bit. It doesn't really matter lah, I guess. My com is so laggy when I'm running this. Okay, so you open into a blank canvas. It's not going to be gray because Photoshop, our Photoshop course is a Photoshop CS5 course. Because the Com Labs, the stuff is Photoshop CS5, right? So it's a light gray background instead of dark gray. The manual will have a photo lah. So, right? And how to close Photoshop? Click the X tab at the top of the window. It can be on the other side if you're using a Mac, so it's just at the top of the window there's an X. Click on it. Okay, so basic tools and functions. Opening and customizing a new file. So right now we have a new file. I just opened this in Photoshop. To do that, you right click an image, right? Then you click open with, and that's Photoshop CS6. It should be there. If it's not there, you can choose default program and like open with that. Okay, and then it will open slowly. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Thomas. Okay, so once you open, right, you can name your new image. So actually we are not following the standard protocol here because I wanted to start with this image to do all the adjustments and stuff. So usually you have new, so slow, blah 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 blah. You can like set your height and your width and your resolution. uh a good thing to note, right, is resolution is usually at 90 for web design stuff and 200 to 300 for A4 size printing. If you're doing like bigger than that, it's definitely 300 dpi, which is pixels per inch. Yeah, it's pixels per inch. So depending on what you do, the different resolutions are required lah. So you have the name. So you can name it. Let's do like training. F here. F F if. Okay, and this is the size. You know, default Photoshop size. And I usually do my sizes in inches because like doing pixels per inch is like it's easier if your dimensions are also in inches lah. But whatever you want. RGB color is for web designs or illustrations or whatever. CMYK is better for printing because printers use CMYK ink. Yep, you can do grayscale also if you want, but not it's not very common lah. Just keep that. And background contents you can do white, background color or transparent. That's basically like what you're gonna start with. Saving files. Saving a file in Photoshop is similar to most other applications. Oh, thanks, Thomas. Hi, everyone. Hi to the Thomas family. And so, moving on, saving files in Photoshop, right? Oh, really? So, to save a file is, store the current file with its present name. But we're going to save as because we're going to make this photo beautiful. Save as. As you can see, there's a save there also, but it was... Sorry about that. I just got a message. Yeah, we'll save as something other than a string of numbers. FAC. F, yeah. Okay, so this is FAC, F, yeah. So, oh, I selected save as JPEG, but there are actually quite a few selections you can do. If you're just saving like a vanilla file like that, which you just open, right, it will usually save to what it already was at the time. So I opened this file as a JPEG, so saving as will make it a JPEG also. But if you made any alterations to it, it will default to the PSD suffix, right? Okay, so PSD files will save all your layers in their full glory. You know, adjustment layers, link layers, everything. It's generally a very big file because of all this like layering. It's instead of one image, you basically have like maybe 4 or 5 images working together in different kinds of relationships. So it's good to save as your master copy because you'll preserve all the different layers. Like for example, maybe you crop in Seth's big head somewhere into this image. So if you save as PSD, at least you'll be able to move it around still. If you rasterize and flatten your image, then you won't be able to move Seth's head anymore. Right? So Photoshop files are very easily, they will go over 10 MB, which is the cap for Hotmail, I believe. I don't know about Gmail or whatever. So it's like it's a lot of space and then it's very difficult to read. So you just save it as a backup lah. Other than that, if you want to let other people see your work, you can use other things such as JPEG. Okay, JPEG is a old compression thing. It compresses your file. It will flatten your file into a single image and it will compress it, and it's small and it's very easily sent. It's a bit low quality, like it says here lossy compression, right? Yeah, means it kind of loses some of your information in the compression. Yeah, but the thing is it's also highly compatible, which means a lot of programs can use it. Yeah, okay, next is a GIF. GIF is a small file size. It's highly compatible also. A lot of people can open GIFs. For some reason, Apple can't do the GIF thing. So sucks to be you, iPhone users. So it can create moving graphics, which is what GIFs are more or less known for, lah, you know, those moving graphics. But it's also extremely low quality. If you didn't know, right, GIF is 256 colors, which is ages ago computers used 256 colors. Now it's millions and millions and millions of colors. So it's not ideal. It's small, that's all. Okay, so a PNG is basically a JPEG, a new and improved JPEG. It's like a JPEG Mewtwo. Yeah, it's small file size. It may not be compatible with older machines because it's a newer file type, but you can create moving graphics also, and it's extremely high quality. It's millions of colors, and there's no lossy compression. It compresses, but it doesn't lose any of your information. Yeah, it also saves in a single layer. So if you save in any of these file types, you cannot preserve your layers at all. So they'll just compress everything into a single image lah. Okay, let me check if there are any questions. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, Owina? Thomas says that it's 25 MB for Gmail, which is good. Yes, that's why everyone loves Gmail. So, continuing, there's TIFF, which personally, right, I have had problems with TIFF, so I don't use it anymore. But you know, it's industrial printers use TIFF, so they will actually accept this also lah. So you know, if you want, and it supports layers, so you can open a TIFF file in Photoshop and it'll be all the layers are there. Yeah, it's a larger file size, but it's slightly smaller than a PSD file, which is why they usually prefer to use it in industrial stuff. Yes. And lastly, it's a PDF, which we are reading now. It's a PDF. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, sorry. Um, it's a small file size, as you all know. It's highly compatible. Uh, yeah, you can choose the type of compression that you use for PDF because a Photoshop file, right? If you save as anything, uh, other than PSD, you will have to compress it. It's a very large file lah. So you can choose between JPEG or lossless compression. So either lossy compression or lossless compression. Yeah, and also PDF supports layers, but I have never used PDF to save my files in, so I don't know. Okay, so next, using the history panel. Okay, so the history panel is not here. Where is it? It's here. It is in a different place in CS5. I'm sorry I can't show this to you. I should get CS5. But anyway, it looks like this in CS5. It's very similar to CS6 actually. Um, if I'm not wrong, it's here in CS5. And you can drag it out. So your history can basically be in the same place lah. So your history logs your history, and you can set it to log how many actions. So like history, as soon as you start editing a file, history will list every task by its name, order of performance. So most recent state will be at the bottom. So the more you use, your list will move up. So as you can see here, like there's history states. Let me. Oh. Okay, there's history states, right? Which is like whatever you do, you paint, and then it will say brush stroke and stuff like that. That's like the stuff that you do. Then there's also snapshots, and it's actually the same in CS6. Let me show you. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hi, Chipong! It's actually the same in CS6. There you can see this is the snapshot here. This is the snapshot icon. So it says create new snapshot, right? So you snapshot and then it will save a snapshot of your state. Basically, it remembers how your file was at a certain time. You can rename this also, I think. Yeah, there you can rename it. Hi, first one. Comment. Right? And A snapshot will basically save your state lah, you know. So you can use snapshots and history states in the same way. If you click on a certain state, it will go back to that state. So let's say if I'm in Photoshop, right, and I I do stuff, I paint. God damn it. Okay, let's have a very very bright color. Okay, so I paint. There you can see here that the brush tool is there. This is brush tool. That's one stroke. I paint again. That's another stroke. So this is the new one, and this is the old one. Okay, so let's use another tool, eraser. Let it erase. Okay, it says eraser, and then let's switch back to the brush, and it says brush again, and eraser will just, as you can see, it's moving down. So the most recent one will be at the bottom. Okay, so let's do something different. Let's blur. No, it's not very obvious. Let's paint some more with different colors. Green. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, so as you can see, there's the brush tool. Even if an action is not obvious, you will have it logged in history lah. And okay, so it's like we have like this mess, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I don't want this, and I want my original picture back. Or maybe I don't want the green. So you can go back. So you click, this is your current state, this is your previous state. So you click back, you can see that it disappeared. You can go back to the front, and you can click back. You can click back some more. You can click back some more. So as you can see, all the green is gone. So when all the green is gone, you can do other things. You can paint green again. But when you paint the new one, the save states that you skipped just now will be erased. So take note of that lah. I mean, like, you can lose work if you didn't know about the save states being erased. So if I want to go back to the original picture, but I don't want to click back like a ton of things, you can use your snapshots, because like, remember we had the snapshot just now. Like, okay, so I just clicked on that. That's your snapshot. It just went back to that state just before we started like mutilating everyone's faces. Right, so that's basically it. Another thing is shortcuts for the history panel. So when you're in Photoshop or doing stuff, or when I'm in Photoshop and doing stuff, I don't know about you guys, you know, tell me about it. Basically my one hand is on the mouse and one hand is on Control Z. Yeah, so it's like I'm gaming. And then it's furious Control Zing, Control Alternate Z in Photoshop actually. So let's go back to the front. I know lots of shit happened. Shit happens. I made mistakes, and Control Z will bring you back. Control Z, come on. Draw. Control Z. Ah, you see, the green here disappeared, and if I click Control Z again, it will reappear it. So you are literally just skipping between the first step, the last step that you did. So it's not there, it's there, it's not there, it's there. So if you want to skip past more, if you want to just go all the way back in history and rage, delete everything, you can press Control Alternate and then Control Z. Then you just keep tapping Control Z, and then you just keep going back. Yeah? Oh shit, what was that? Yep. So like that, you can just destroy all your work.